Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Black Lives Matter discussion group. Today, we're going to be discussing lots of American current events that are going on. Firstly, the Georgia election, which is a historic election for the U.S., especially for Georgia, because the first ever Black senator from Georgia was elected. And that's pretty significant because of how the population of Georgia is so, a lot of the population is Black in Georgia, and there have been a lot of legislative laws making voting harder for Black citizens in Georgia. But even despite that, the Black citizens came through, especially Black women apparently, and made that possible, which is really cool. And I'd love to dive into that first, and maybe we can talk about the Capitol resurrection a little bit after that. So yeah, I just found it really, really cool seeing Georgia have that election, because it historically it's been so it has so much voter suppression, but the citizens of Georgia really recognize their power, especially the Black citizens, and use their voice and really created a big change that impacts the whole entire country for the US. If you're not in the US and you kind of don't understand the political system, I'll run it down really quick. But basically, when there's a majority, there's 2 senators from each state, and there's 50 states. So whoever has a majority from the 2 parties elected to the Senate, which is for the senators, has House majority rule, which I'm a little not clear on what that means, but I know they have more power if there's a majority in there. They have they'll block laws or pass laws or whatever. So everything hinged on that election, because it was split 50-50, and they needed 2 elected Democrats to hold the House. And that's just and then they actually did it in very crazy circumstances. And yeah, it's just I was really blown away by how much people really went out and used their voice. So yeah, I wonder what you guys are feeling about that and all that.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something. The one thing when all this stuff was happening about the Georgia election, so I wasn't really understanding what was happening per se, or a lot of the backstory. But I watched a speech that Joe Biden had, President now Joe Biden had put out, and he was talking about something that I thought was really interesting. He was empowering the group that their voice mattered, and that they could go out and vote, and that it was safe for them to do that, right? To claim their power, which is interesting to me because in many cases and scenarios that's not really talked about. There's kind of been this a movement of sorts to get people to go out and vote for the last, I would say, 10 years. And I know Khalida is kind of part of that movement. You've done a lot of work in that movement. I'm sure you'll talk a little bit about that too. But what I found to be really interesting is just this empowerment that I've been that I took a recognition of what happened within Atlanta. I think what we're coming to notice is that people just weren't going out to vote because they thought that their voice didn't matter. And this is actually essentially what was told to people, back when they didn't have a vote to begin with. And so it's interesting that you say that a lot of the people that went out to vote and had pushed this over was, I believe you said, a lot of Black women, right? Women particularly couldn't vote back then. And of course, Black people also didn't have the right to vote back then as well. And so I feel like there's a parallel here in history of us fully coming full circle around. And it just feels like people are being empowered to have a say in their government, which wasn't normal, and is now becoming kind of the norm. I think more people are becoming educated in this space. And I really liked what Joe said, where he was basically hey, this is a united nation, a United States, and I think they also, and Obama has used this term too, but they've said, pursuit of a perfect union, right? Which is interesting because that's the pursuit of, unionism is for the perfect union of all creation. And yeah, I think that there's something to that. I just found it to be really interesting, what's being shown here as we see the elections happening, and we see women and women of color especially coming out to vote when I think they probably thought their voices couldn't be heard, or it's just become very obvious that people are becoming empowered, right? And I think that has a lot to do with some of the healing that we've been doing. I know a couple weeks ago, this is months ago, I think now, we did a whole entire healing session for 3 weeks around just voting and being empowered to go vote. And so I think that we're seeing that reflected in what we saw within what happened with the country, and also what happened within Atlanta right now. And I'm not aware of what's happening in the rest of the world as well. I'm sure, Granville, maybe you have some insights as to how it's also being reflected in other aspects of the world, and perhaps in South Africa. But yeah, just to me, it just proves what we're doing here is working, and that there's parallels here of healing happening from history. And we'll talk more about that, I think, too, when we talk about the next piece as well.
Well, last week was a week for sure. And it was the first week of the year, right? It was the first 7 days of the year, which we knew was a buildup, at least politically, of what was going to be happening. And so we knew that January 5th was this election in Georgia, which would just ride on how power would be distributed in America, right? Would it be distributed evenly, or would it be uneven, like it's been in the past? And so it was the feeling of that, and then January 6th, having the confirmation of the newly elected president and vice president. And I have never watched the confirmation Senate hearings of a president and a vice president. Never, ever have I ever. That's like a C-SPAN type of situation. No one's watching that. But this one was on CNN. And the reason for that was because of this energy, in which led to the insurrection. We'll talk about that, of not letting love win, right? Not letting harmony win, not letting power that was driven by love win. And thankfully it didn't, but it was this energy of wanting to jeopardize that. And so last Wednesday was this big high of finding out that the Georgia elections were a win for both the senators, which, as Marley said, was first Black senator out of Georgia, which is phenomenal and just shows where we are. There's this energy of like only now in 2021, but yes, we're here. And so that's beautiful. And then the other guy, people haven't said this, and I that pointed out to me, the other guy's he's a Jew. And
Yeah.
so how like amazing is that narrative as well? So that you know, a Black man and a Jewish man are now elected, and that brings us to equal balance. So now the Senate is 50-50. I mean, if it ain't God, you know, I don't know what it is, but that feels like a democracy, right? And then the vice president elect, it will be who splits the vote if there's ever a vote to split. And because the vice president elect is Democrat, Democrats now have the majority in the Senate in essence, but it's 50-50. That feels good. You know, if we're talking about what bringing voices and really bringing people alongside it, that felt really good. And to me, that felt like that's a democracy. That's what I can get behind on. And so it was like this big joy. And then, well, I won't go into that, but and then like midday, it just shifted. It just shifted to like, what in the world is going on here? And, you know, and all of that. And so, you know, I'll let us get to that a little bit more, but if anyone has any thoughts of that, but it still feels good that I didn't let that take my joy away. But it still feels good to know that, there's a balance, and our voices, using our power, like Marley said, and Ray is saying, that we use our power. And how amazing is that? And that feels really, really good.
I love what you said about not having listened to the president and vice president speeches before. This was the first time I had done that as well. And I gotta say, I felt so grounded and like I was really upset because I had watched it after I found out about everything that was happening. And I just like listened to both of them, and I actually like it fell into a meditative state. And I was like, how am I listening to like a politician type of thing, and I am feeling this level of like peace coming from, you know, politicians? I was really, really, you know, interested. I was like, what is going on here? And yeah, like there's like so much happening under the surface that is super woo woo that we don't really like talk about a lot here, as to like why all of this is happening. And it's not because like, oh, all of a sudden Joe Biden is this fantastic president, because he's saying things that Obama used to say, you know, 8 years ago, right? Nothing's really new, but there's like something there energetically within what's happening in politics right now. And it doesn't really matter who the people are playing in the roles of this healing, but it's like become very clear to me that there is some deep stuff happening. It feels really good. So I just wanted to say that, and I'm glad you brought up the speeches and stuff, because yeah, there's something to that. There's something to that. Like I feel like I actually like feel happy that I'm American now. Did not feel that way, you know, the last 4 years. So
I also wanted to add that John Ossoff is also the youngest senator. He's a millennial, so there's like some more representation there. So that's pretty cool.
You look old. Yeah, I mean,
He's like
you don't look young.
33. Yeah, well, definitely.
Millennials are about to be 40 soon, so yeah.
Who?
I said millennials are about to be 40 soon, Kalita.
I know my birthday's tomorrow, so I get it. I didn't think so though, but go ahead, Marla.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to add that because I thought that was cool. Like, I feel like, okay, like the younger voices, the people who understand, like the younger generations are like coming into politics representing that voice too. Like John Ossoff is on TikTok. He has some great TikToks, but yeah. Um, I feel like the conversation is definitely going in the direction of like the capital resurrection now. So like Kalita, I know you had some stuff to share about that. So if you want to go ahead.
I just think it was the juxtaposition of the day. It was like you woke up that morning and it was this feeling of victory. And yeah, I know everyone didn't feel that way, right? Like Republicans didn't feel like, oh my gosh, it was victory. But it was really just this energy of not even Republican Democrat, but just, man, 50-50 feels good, right? Like that feels good. And the narrative was going to be like, oh, if it is 50-50, a lot of things won't get done. Like, why would, like, why wouldn't it, kind of thing. And so, and then the juxtaposition of that was that hours later, there, you turned on your TV and there was just massive violence and massive attack on our government to stop doing what they're supposed to do. And the irony of it all was, to me, very shocking. I was very like, what in the world is happening right now? That the America that you're claiming to love, you are attacking it because it's not doing what you want it to do, or and so it was very shocking, very unnerving to see such action. And I looked up the definition of insurrection, and it's a violent uprising against an authority or government. And, instead of us writing insurrection, we needed to say the whole sentence in order to just be clear of what has happened. Because there's a lot of narrative about, if that was Black Lives Matter, if that was Black and brown people there, instead of, and I'm gonna just call it what it is, white supremacist Christian nationalism of evangelicals and to the left, and diehard Trump supporters, that if that was Black and brown people instead, literally, I have no doubt in my mind that would have been a massacre. Like, tons of people would have been killed and injured. And that doesn't feel good. Right? Like the reality of knowing that this would have turned out differently, and just having that comparison really sucks, and it just shows how much more healing that we do have to do. And so you win the day, and you heal the block, and then the next block happens, right? And then the opportunity to heal that block comes. And so, yeah, it was just this reality of this America that we live in. We still got work to do. So, yeah.
I wanted to say something. Oh, go ahead, Deji.
I have a few things to say about that. Okay, so there's two different sides. There's two different perspectives I see when it came to that. There was one side where it says, similar to Kalita, how if this was Black Lives Matter, that this would be, if it was similar to what happened during the Black Lives Matter marches and protests, it would have been a totally different situation. Because I remember, I think it was either CNN or Fox posted a comparison of what it looked like during the summer, of what it looked like during the summer and what it looked like now. Back in the summer, there was a good, I don't know how many National Guard members were on the stairs, like just lined up ready for battle, if that's the best word to use. And then when it came to this one, like it was like a fucking free for all, of literally free for all. And then there were also little perspective, there's also little areas where a lot of it was encouraged because there's video clips of cops actually letting the protesters into the Capitol. Like we see you, bro. You're not low. And also, there's another side where I see that's one perspective. Another perspective I see it as when it came during the whole Black Lives Matter movement during the summer, everyone was all, oh, you know, white lives matter, blue lives matter. We should be, it's not always one side, whatever, whatever. But you're coming into the state capitol attacking security guards and you're attacking cops. Like, do you know how you look? But yeah, those are two different perspectives. There's ones where I actually just laughed because that just showed most hip are when it came to, you know, they just wanted to get what they wanted. And if they didn't get what they wanted, it was like a brat, like a little kid crying, like, oh no. But yeah, that's all that was. And I laughed at that because it just showed how what's the best word to use for this? It showed the privilege. It showed how much privilege that they feel that they're entitled to. But yeah, that's about it. That's how I feel about that.
Granville, did you want to say something?
So I kind of feel like and I think Deji is probably presenting it, is that there's a healing piece here that is worth exploring. So Deji, are you keen to go into this space?
What do you mean?
I feel like you've got a piece of healing here. That's probably the next leg for all of us. So are you keen to explore the feeling that you're feeling there?
I mean, I'm not really sure which one you're pointing to.
Just feel your feeling and tell me what's sitting there.
I mean, it's clarity, if that's the best word to use.
Are you saying that you have a lack of clarity, or you are asking for more clarity?
No,
What is your personal feeling?
No, these are my personal feelings. I have received the clarity of what I saw during the ambush, because what I realized was the everything that happened during the Black Lives Matter protests and marches back during the summer, and how everyone was just so equipped and ready to go to war, that was just a reflection of who they are, which showed how they reacted when it came to what happened at the Capitol. And I was just surprised of how much of a reflection that was.
Okay, but I feel like you're reasoning past your feelings and you're not feeling your feelings. So can you try and feel your feeling here? Let go of the narrative and just feel the feeling.
Okay. I feel what's coming up is manipulated, but I can't feel if that's what if that's the best word to call it.
That's okay. Follow that feeling.
Yeah.
What does the manipulation mean to you or for you or against you?
Of another race's projection, if that's the best word, if that's the best way to say it.
Of another race's?
Projection, yes.
Right. So follow that feeling. What is it that you need in that space of rejection?
No, not rejection, projection of someone else's
Projection.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that they're projecting something.
Yes, someone else's projection of another race.
Right. So what part of you is projecting something here?
Maybe the pot calling the kettle black. Maybe,
Right.
I don't know.
Right. So let's go in there. Let's just feel it. Is that you possibly persecuting someone else or yourself?
No, persecuting what I saw.
Right. So what part of you is feeling persecuted right now? What does that part need in this space?
I feel maybe my well-being.
Right. So can you choose your total well-being here?
Yes.
How does that feel? Do you feel like there's something that is probably in the way of your total well-being?
No.
What are you feeling?
Maybe acknowledgement.
Of what or who?
Acknowledging my well-being. There was nothing in the way. It's just me acknowledging my well-being.
Can you go ahead and do that for yourself?
Yes.
Where does your well-being come from?
God.
Does everybody have God equally, just the way you have God?
Yes, they do.
And so if they all have God equally, what can they possibly be projecting?
Their own upsets.
Right. So can we forgive them for their upsets and for the space that it takes us into? And forgive ourselves for going into that space in the first place?
Yes. Yes.
How are you feeling now?
No, ego kind of got in the way to say, nah, fuck them, don't forgive them. But I'm trying to, but I want to, but I
Cool.
should forgive them.
That's cool. You can accept that part of yourself too.
Okay.
You can accept that part of yourself too. Sometimes it takes a little bit more energy to release things. So accept that part of yourself and forgive it for keeping you stuck in a pattern that doesn't serve you.
Yes. Yes. I'm choosing to release this ego discord.
How are you feeling now?
Okay, that feels better.
Does it feel complete or is there more to carry on here?
Jesus. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I needed to forgive. I needed to forgive those people. Yeah,
Right.
that's what it was.
Is it not your forgiveness of yourself that you need to
Yes.
actually do?
Yes, and that as well.
Right. And what do you need to forgive yourself for? Are you feeling responsible in some way for maybe not doing God's job when you shouldn't be doing God's job in the first place? What are you feeling responsible for? Yeah.
No, I feel it's responsible for holding on to it instead of just letting it go.
Right. So can you let go of it, or is there
Yes,
something
I can let it
that's
go.
creating resistance in this space?
No, it's just not resistance. It's just I guess because me watching it on the news all the time,
Hmm.
it's harder to like get away from it, even though you want to just like completely let it go. But we still have to also keep acknowledging that it happened and not just ignore it. So like,
So
that also
being
comes
aware
apart.
of an upset around you or in society is an opportunity for you to heal. So if it's being presented to you in the news or on the radio or in conversations with other people all the time, it's just taking you deeper into your healing. So do you choose to go deeper into your healing in this space?
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels like it just needs more attention.
Right? So give it the attention
That's
that
like
it
more
needs.
attention.
You are the powerful one, yeah? Give it the attention that it needs. What would you like to see in your reality if the illusion of the mess keeps on being projected onto your TV screen? What would you actually choose in your reality?
I choose unity.
Awesome. What else do you choose in your reality?
Wait, say that one more time.
What else do you choose in your reality? Does that feel complete, or is there more that you can choose in your reality? Yeah.
Unity, harmony, and love, and forgiveness.
Does that feel complete to you?
1 second. I just got a message at 333. So yeah. Um,
So that's just the
protection.
unity of your support.
Yes.
3 threes is just a
Yes.
perfection of divine support.
Yes. So
So I
yeah,
just want you to just, in that choice, just look at every area of your life and make that choice for every area of your life.
I'm choosing to add love, forgiveness, harmony, and unity to every part of my life.
Awesome. How does
Yes.
that feel?
Feels better.
Does it feel complete?
I feel there's a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Would you like to go into that space right now?
Yes.
Right, let's go there. What is that feeling?
It just feels like it's asking for more attention is all.
Right, but what form would that attention take? Because attention is quite a broad term, but there's obviously something that's requiring focus or directed focus. What is requiring the directed focus right now?
What's coming up for me is love.
Mm-hmm. In what sense? Or is it just unconditional and all encapsulating love?
Unconditional.
Right. And so do you want to just go ahead and apply that to you and every space in your life and every circumstance that appears in your reality?
Yes.
And how are you feeling about it now?
Okay, that feels a little bit more better this time.
Mm-hmm. So it's getting better and better.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling?
It's more at ease.
What is? That's good. You want to just ground that feeling of ease a little bit more and see if there's any feelings that come up after that.
Mm. Just more unconditional love, really.
Good. Good. Do you choose that right now? And do you choose it in every area of your life?
Yes.
How does that feel?
That feels better.
Good. Does it feel complete?
It feels complete. Yes. It just it's just asking for consistent and persistence, unconditional love. That's it.
Right. So do you choose to consistently apply unconditional love to every area of your life whenever you feel the need for it?
Yes.
Awesome. Is there anything else coming up for you?
That feels complete.
Awesome. You just want to welcome all of that home and just allow it to ground into your very core.
Okay.
Good. Awesome.
So the card that we got is True Offering. True Offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love, which
That's
is
very
exactly
cool.
what happened.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Great job, Digi.
I kind of wanted to talk about the other side of the healing. I was healing along with Deji a little bit. Because like we didn't really talk about this, but like the people that were there were wearing like sweatshirts that said Camp Auschwitz. which is from the Holocaust, and also sweatshirts that said Civil War, January 6, 2021. And so they were blatantly saying like these things, right? Like presenting, hey, we're recognizing we're back there, right? And I think it's quite interesting because like the whole campaign that they're behind is Make America Great Again. And I think it's interesting that they want to actually go backwards to the way things were. And there was also a number of nooses that were presented outside of the Capitol building as well, where they were. So I personally feel anger. And I've had like a deep passion, I guess you could say, or like it's moved me a lot. Just learning about what happened in like the Civil War and what happened within the Holocaust and things like that, how like people could mentally be able to want someone to die because of who they are, or like just be so like that angry at people, and that evil, like the fact that evil would exist, right? That there could be people who could try to, like, I know they can't really harm anyone, but it's like this sadness that I'm feeling of like that like that our world is divided, or that it had been divided. That there's just like hate in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's unpack that quickly. So there was you had a very significant feeling of anger.
Yeah.
And from a feelings point of view, anger is sadness's older sister, right?
Right.
Right. So what is that sadness about, Ray?
Yeah, I'm just sad that there's hate in the world. I guess what it really is that like that it feels like love doesn't win. It feels like love has to fight to maybe look like it's won, but not ever really win. Like it feels like there's someone saying this in the forum that got me upset too, about like the what's it called, symbol. Gosh darn it, I can't remember the name of the symbol, but it's a symbol that has like the black and the white.
The yin yang symbol, yeah.
Where it's like, there's darkness and there's light and there's evil and there's good. And I keep seeing this everywhere. Like there's good and evil. And it's like, I'm upset because like, I'm just like, I want to only believe that like that love is it, that there's only good, that there is no evil. There is no darkness.
So what stops you from believing that you only love?
Just seeing the realities of the world, I guess. And
right, but is it the reality of the world, or is it an illusion trying to keep us stuck from the true work that we're doing?
Yeah, it's an illusion.
Right. So feel into that space of the true work and the true love that you are ready to give the world in the truckload that you have to give it, and allow that to take hold, and allow that to be your reality.
Yeah.
Are you responsible for eradicating the perception of evil in this world?
No.
Who is responsible for that?
God.
And so isn't it much more peaceful for you to give God his or her job back?
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Better. Yeah.
Right. And what can you do as God's divine child?
I can just choose love and peace at my core.
Awesome.
And choose to see a reality in which there's only love.
Awesome. Do you want to go ahead and do that?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else coming up for you?
I think there's like a little bit of doubt sometimes, and a little doubt that comes up.
And is it okay for you to have doubt sometimes?
Yeah, it's okay to move through doubt.
And is it okay for you to choose to partner with God in that space of doubt?
Yes.
So can you go ahead and make that choice? Who's going to give you clarity in that space?
God is.
Right. And so can you accept God's perfect clarity in whatever way it presents itself?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you feel now?
Relieved.
Does it feel like a weight has just lifted off your shoulders a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that's coming up for you?
Yeah, it's this feeling of like you can't, like, you create your own reality, right? And like but it's like the feeling of like, well, can someone still enter my reality?
Are you choosing for anybody to enter your reality, or are you choosing for love to enter your reality?
Got it. Choosing love to enter my reality. Mm-hmm.
And does love sometimes present us with lessons that give us an opportunity to heal?
Yes.
And so isn't that a perfect path for you?
Yeah.
So can you just go ahead and choose the love that you choose to feel and see and experience in your life and in the world around you?
Yeah.
Is that not your birthright as a divine child of God?
It is. Mm-hmm.
So would you like to go ahead and call in your full birthright in every area of your life?
Mm-hmm.
How does that feel?
Better.
Does it feel complete, or is there more?
It feels complete.
Awesome. Would you like to just allow all of that to integrate and settle at your core?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good stuff.
I pulled a card for you, Ray.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, surrender unhealthy relationships.
Yeah, I think I was still having a relationship with like ego.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a relationship with the perception of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can comfortably let go of that because your divine birthright is not to struggle.
Yeah, and this also made me think of like we may see these like people saying like these hurtful things and being toxic and believing in fear and everything, but like if you really feel into it, it's very weak. Like I think that's one of the reasons why like they didn't have a lot of Capitol Police in the first place, because they're believing in control and believing in so much fear that like they can't really cause a lot of damage. And when like one of the reasons why like the Black Lives Matter movement has so much policing, so much like enforcement, I think is because they're really scared of the power of love that the Black Lives Matter movement is showing the world. Obviously like that's not cool, like they don't need to be afraid of that love, but you know, that's what's like helped me have more clarity about all this. It's just like recognizing, okay, like this is kind of just upheaval from all the power we've claimed, and ego is trying to like take us back down to like the false reality of powerlessness and control and the old way. But yeah, we just have to continue giving our power to love. Yeah.
Marley, I really like that analogy you just dropped. Like that
Yeah,
that
same. I like
that
that.
was
Thank you.
that was powerful. It's like you know, yeah, one thing I've heard for like if you don't got no haters, you kind of got to worry like, are you really doing anything, right? And not that you want haters, but like it is this level of affirmation of like maybe I'm going in the right direction here. So I really like that analogy that you put on that it's the fear of needing enforcement for the power of this love, and it's a lack of fear in the weakness of hate. Girl, Marley, come on, Marley. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah,
I was gonna also go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's God.
Yes, God through Marley. What also came up, and so I'm just gonna say it, with the card surrender unhealthy relationships. I think what you did there, Ray, was you healed for white people. And so I think it was, I don't know if you can think of anyone that you know that would have been part of such a thing on Wednesday, based on family or friends or anything of that nature. But I'm pretty sure there's people who knew people who were there, right? And they were, flabbergasted. And so it's like, surrendering those unhealthy relationships to God, that you're not responsible for what they do. You're not responsible for how they act. You only get to responsible for yourself. And so that's what kind of came to mind with that card as well, that you did that healing for white people.
I definitely feel like there has been a like revealing of the undergoings on that, like, I don't think many of us knew were happening. And I think whether or not those groups are part of why things are happening within the Black Lives Matter movement or what have you, like, there is an underlying intention and upset within America, and it's obvious from like what happened, right? And so like yeah, there's like, I was watching like some guy's Instagram story or whatever, and he has like this southern draw accent, and he was like saying like, Bobby and Billy from down the street, I grew up with you, and like I saw you at that thing and you guys are stupid and all this other stuff. And I think like what you're saying is true. Like I think we're getting really clear as to like um you know we don't need to like be divided, but we don't need to have a relationship with that consciousness anymore. Like, we can let it die out. Like we can let hate just kind of play its course and die out, which is what's happening, instead of like feeding it and being really angry with it and like what have you, right? And so it is dying out. This is its last fight, and it wasn't even that big of a fight, as Marley put on. And so yeah, for me, like it's seeing that like it doesn't have power, because like that's what I'm experiencing. I'm experiencing a lot of ego death in my life in lots of areas of my life. And thank you, Granville, for like, yeah, definitely pointing that out, because like I definitely was still having a relationship with struggle. And yeah, I think that like the world now can like rest easy in knowing that like you can just let it die on its own. You don't have to like go and go, oh, I'm so sorry you're dying. Like, oh, poor you, you're dying. come, we'll save you. No, like they don't want to be saved. Just let them, do their thing, die out. And we keep just shining our big, powerful lights of love. And, yeah, like as everybody said, love always wins. And, there's also, I forget who said it. I think maybe Jeff said it. Like darkness is just the absence of light, right? And that's the definition of darkness, right? And so like like light always wins, right? Love always wins.
I don't know what Jeff exactly said, but that's a Martin Luther King quote.
Is it? I don't know. He's probably said it like just as like a reference to, right? But yeah, I mean, I think everybody has used this in this realm, right? They use this sort of word.
Who knows who said it, really?
Who knows who really started it out? But if you look on Google and you Google, what does it mean? What does darkness mean? It'll show you darkness is the absence of light. And so, yeah, for me, it's just showing that like, more healing to be done, but like we can also just relax in knowing that like, okay, that's it's done now. Like just keep sitting in the love, staying with the love instead of focusing on the hate.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the last few insights are quite healthy in the sense that generally when things are dying out, they fight harder to stay alive, knowing that they have lost the battle already. So we can possibly and very easily and very comfortably rest in that knowledge that we don't need to allow the illusion to take hold where it's been released already. We just actually need to allow it to leave through the same door that it entered.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and this time we get to secure it permanently, right?
Yes, no, we permanently choose perfect union with love, and we wave goodbye to everything that is not that.
Amen.
Amen. Cool beans.
I pulled one.
So everybody, thank you for.
Wait, Marley has something.
Yes, I just asked her, dearest.
Oh, there's so many things happening. I pulled one more card, just like affirming what we were just talking about, surrender obsessive thinking, like letting go of the drama and letting go of the story of like all the ego bullshit, upheaval stuff. Just like focusing on the love. But yeah.
So, amen. Yeah, it's been a great conversation today. Thank you, Deji and Ray, for the significant healing work that you guys tackled today. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you to everybody that has joined us in our conversation today. We'd like to invite everybody to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel. You will find all our previous Black Lives Matter conversations on there. We have reached quite a few milestones, and I think we've been going this conversation has been continuing for 5 months already. So thank you to everybody that's been an active participant, that's actively contributed, that's actively participated in the healing. And we will see all of you next week for another conversation around why Black Lives Matter. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.